Hi, I'm Andrew Beaupré. I'm the Survey Station Archaeologist out of UAPB. And let's see, I did my undergrad work at the University of Vermont in Burlington. I have a degree there in anthropology, really focused on prehistoric archaeology, and one in history, actually in Canadian history of all things. I went on to Western Michigan University, where I got an MA in anthropology with a specialization in archaeology again, looking at French colonial work in the Great Lakes. And then I have a PhD from the College of William and Mary, which again is in anthropology, focused on what they call a historical anthropological approach. So my first archaeological experience is actually rather funny. It's kind of what we categorize now as maybe looting. I was in fourth grade, and my elementary school did themes every year that all six grades kind of followed along with. And my fourth grade year was Our Town 100 years ago. And so my fourth grade teacher had an intro to archaeology class as an undergrad, and he decided to run an archaeological dig at a 19th century cellar hole farmhouse site. And so we didn't end up taking anything, but we went out and we gridded off the whole site using masonry twine in 1 by 1 meter squares. And then we went to each square and recorded all the artifacts we could see on the surface and drew them and took photos and had kind of a neat archaeological experience that way. First field school, I actually didn't go to a field school ever. When I was an undergrad, you couldn't apply financial aid money to a summer course, and our field schools were only offered in the summer. And so I didn't have a lot of money to take a field school. It wasn't required in my undergrad degree. So what I did, I actually got a job in CRM. I took a crash course with my advisor at the time, and he kind of walked me through basic field methods. And I started the summer after my sophomore year in the field as a field tech for the consulting archaeology program at UVM at the University of Vermont. And so I remember first day we were doing walkover surveys of plowed field and just kind of looking for artifacts on the surface, kind of site survey. And I bent down and picked up my first flake piece of lithic debitage, and I handed it over my shoulder to a more advanced field tech who was kind of walking with me, and he was kind of shadowing me, or I was shadowing him, and he was supervising me, I guess. And I handed it over my shoulder to him, and he's kind of this grizzled guy, and he looked at it. He's like, "Yep, Beaupré, you found your first artifact." And then he was chewing tobacco, and he spit over my other shoulder and landed this big clod of spit in front of me on the other side. And I was like, hey, I guess I'm part of the crew now. So my primary area of interest is in French colonial archaeology. And that really comes from the fact that I am part of the French Canadian diaspora, if you will. My name is André Robert Beaupré, if you ask the Canadian government, who I worked for quite a while, actually. And at any rate, I was really upset by the Anglo-centric view of American history that we got in a lot of the history books, even where I grew up on the border with Canada in northern Vermont, right on the border with Quebec. Everything was very Anglo-centric, and the French-Canadian history was really kind of cut out altogether, including the fact that Vermont was first visited by a French explorer, Samuel de Champlain. And so I was really kind of upset by that, and I wanted to focus on kind of my own personal heritage in that way. So I chose a career in archaeology by accident, if you will. I was a freshman at the University of Vermont majoring in history with a double major in biology. I was pre-med, actually, and I was going to become a physician. I had wanted to, I think since the age of like 6, become a doctor, a pediatric oncologist, actually. And I was kind of a dorky kid. And so I took Dr. James Peterson's Introduction to Prehistoric Archaeology class my freshman year because I thought it was going to be easy. I heard it was going to be easy, and that I had seen the Discovery Channel. I was like, this is no problem. Archaeology sounds cool. I'll just take it and it'll be an easy A. And I completely fell in love with the topic. And so much so I went in to, I think it was the first office hours he held the second week of school. And I was just like, in one sentence, blurted out, Dr. Peterson, this is amazing. I'm in your Intro to Archaeology class. My name's Andrew Beaupré, and I think this is amazing. I want your job someday. Just like that. And he invited me in and told me to sit down, and he's like, that's great. What? Who are you? Slow down, And so from then on, he became my advisor and a really close friend. So currently, I'm teaching at UAPB. I'm teaching both their Intro to Anthropology course, which has been on the books for a long time, and we just had an Intro to Archaeology course added. So I'm really excited. It makes UAPB one of the few HBCUs in the country. I believe there are now 3, maybe 4, that are offering an Intro to Archaeology class. It's just not something that's taught. More of them have Intro to Anthropology, but Archaeology specifically not so much. It's also great at UAPB that the Intro to Anthropology and Intro to Archaeology classes, one of the 2 is required for the criminal justice degree. And so we're getting a chance to talk to people who are future police officers and lawyers about integrating anthropology and really an understanding. In the archaeology side of things, I have a heavy focus on forensics in that class to enable them to really start to understand forensic archaeology and their hopeful careers in the future. What do I do all day long? Well, you're kind of looking at it now. I try to do a lot of work on the computer now with COVID. And so I'm working on some publication projects, getting them caught up, but my phone is always here and I'm always available. I answer a lot of emails and Facebook messages from interested people, concerned citizens who call them in the public. Hey, I saw this artifact. Can you help me out? Should we protect this site? Do you know where it is? Hey, I saw this on the internet and I don't think that this should be happening. Can we talk about it? Hey, whatever. We're here really as a public outreach organization. I'm also working on some papers about Arkansas archaeology and really enjoy speaking to the different chapters of the Arkansas Archaeological Society as well. I have 2 lectures coming up, one for the Fort Smith station and also one for the Jonesboro ASU station about my research and about the French colonial interaction in Arkansas. And I'm working on a paper for the Society for Historical Archaeology's annual meeting, which is coming up. Usually it would be in person. It's supposed to be in Lisbon, Portugal this year, but we're doing it all digital with COVID. And I'm doing a paper on the 19th century kind of French experience out of Arkansas Post and how, while, the country may not exist anymore, or in this case by the 19th century, you have the United States owning Arkansas, but the people remain and the flags change, but kind of ethnicity remains. So I'm talking a little bit about how we can tease that out of the archaeological record. These are, people who are descended from French colonial settlers or Spanish colonial settlers, and what does that life look like in the early 19th century on the frontier in Arkansas? So aside from doing lectures, digital lectures, I really just love to work with the public when our lab is back open. We love Dr. Scott and I, who work out of UAPB, just love to have people come in. We have all sorts of projects going on, cataloging artifacts, kind of taking care of our collections, looking through and even scanning maps for archaeological sites that we know we need to record. Just really kind of interacting as much as possible. I love working with Boy Scouts. I'm an Eagle Scout myself, and so I have this last year, with the summer camps being all digital, I ran a Boy Scout and a Cub Scout program on archaeology for the Quapaw Council here, so that was really productive. I like to do that kind of stuff. So I'm open to interacting with people, obviously digitally for now, but otherwise I'm happy to do the roadshow and visit. So, my email is right here in the survey webpage information. Reach out and chat. I'm always available for you. So I look forward to meeting more of the members of the Archaeological Survey Society group, and also the just Arkansas public in general.